I didn't even realize that you left out of the call.
For real?
For real? Get noise or nothing. I was just talking.
Yeah, no, I was just like, I'm about to go do this. It went blank for a second, so I was like, oh damn, all right, he must be up too. So I just hung up.
That's hilarious. No, so I was telling you about my friend who just had this experience last night, like a DMT trip, but without DMT.
This shit is
So
recording right now.
that's cool. Yeah,
What you saying?
yeah. So
Okay.
this kid calls me. He goes, "Dude, I got to tell you this." So he went up. He hit a dab pen. He's sitting on his roof or balcony or something. It's like nighttime, and he hit his dab pen, and he got the feeling like you get when you're about to leave your body, like on DMT. You know, like kind of like slight nervousness and all this shit. And he was like, "Oh shit, I recognize that." So he went with it and like meditated on it and stuff, and it happened. So he broke through. He had a DMT breakthrough without doing DMT, but the difference was he was able to remember like who he was, who his grandparents are, who I am. Like he was able to bring that with him because it wasn't like this, you know, blast out of your body and then rip back into your body. Like
Yeah, it was just like gradually. It was like the DMT opened the door a little bit, and then he just went through it.
yeah, that's what I was saying. It was like the weed. He only hit the weed. It was like the weed opened the door and he walked himself through because he said he felt like he was in control and that he could leave at any time. And so when he got there, he's communicating with whatever type of beings there are. And he wanted to ask them about something about his grandmother. And they told him, if you ask this question, it's going to cost basically energy and time. It basically costs your time in that realm. They're like, if you ask this, you're not going to be able to be here as long. So basically, you could be here longer if you didn't ask any questions and if you just observed. But he was like, okay, that's fine. So they gave him his answer. And then he's like, oh, wait, what about Gus? I got to tell something to Gus because I'm going to call him right after this. And so I need something to say to him that's going to, like, he's like, I need to do this. I need something that's going to make me want to do this again. You know, because he knows his brain is going to convince him about something and, like, make it seem like this wasn't as big of a deal as it was. So these things showed him like a vision of me placing a key on top of a doorway. Hold on, this fucking guy on a motorcycle. Never thought I'd be annoyed by a motorcycle, but I am right now.
Yeah, man, it's all about the user, just like guns.
So, anyways, so these things told him, they showed him and told him this vision of me placing a key on top of a doorway. And he goes, I don't know if that means anything to you or what. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, you literally just saw into the fucking past. Like, I told him, I got a key above my door frame right now in the building I live in to get into my apartment. I'm like, they somehow showed you me doing that, but in the past. And
do you do it routinely?
Well,
do you like leave it there routinely, or is it just always there?
So he was like, it's either at your old house or at my parents' house, or it's at the new house that I'm at now. He's like, I'm not sure. And I told him, dude, I've put him at both. I said, I put a key above my door frame at both houses. And he's like, I know it's not uncommon, but it's not very common because he himself, he's never thought to do that. He said he's never seen anyone do that. So, I mean, at least in his world, it was like kind of unique to different people, I guess. Because if you've never seen anyone do it, you're not going to just do that. But I just thought it was wild that I feel like he was able to see the past. And it just made me think about, realities and the way time works and how it's not linear. Like, I feel like if somehow you passed from like this lifetime body, you could end up in like a different time.
Yeah. If it's not linear, then it's got to be tangible. You know what I mean? Like Farrell be saying, he was saying like it's not really any different than a file on a computer. Like a time or a lifetime, it's just like it's a location. Like times are places and places are times, space is time. So it's It's like an actual thing. Like time is almost like an actual thing in a sense. Like I think he was saying like time is sound cubed or something like that. I forget, but like um, you get it there. Like yeah, like the what I'm saying, like you know what I mean, like how as far as like time is like yeah, it's not linear in the sense that like you could go to any time on a file in your computer or go on your Instagram and go 10 years back or whatever, or however many years back, and you can look at like a time. It's there. It's like
Right.
there for. It's like a. I
Another,
mean, it's like a coordinate.
yeah. Yeah, I was explaining to him that too about having to do with like kind of who we are as we're born. Like that's why astrology, like, kind of like lines up and stuff. And because he's on board, or I guess, or has the understanding that everybody, like the consciousness anyways, is like a piece of the whole, and it basically just wanted to experience itself. So that's what we're in now, because anytime you access like infinity, or like the ability to just have everything you want at that second, you get bored wicked fast. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we come
Oh,
into these
go
we
ahead.
come into these dreams or these lifetimes, or whatever. I think we come into these dreams because everything's so complete, you know what I mean, in eternity that you like let me experience what like brokenness is and like incompletion is, or like the illusion, the different degrees of like the illusion of separation. It's like not incomplete. It's just like the
Right.
greatest appearance of that, or like since you're dealing with time and there's separation between like time and space, like everything's complete, but like you have to go through the whole process to see that it's complete. You know what I mean? It's like it's gonna appear incomplete as the process unfolds, but then everything is complete the more that you become like one with the process. You're like not separate from the process, so then you can see how like the, the process of experiencing incompletion completes it, kind of like it's like
Right.
experience and lack. You
Oh,
can
so
you
based off
experience,
that,
you can feel it.
that's kind of another thing we talked about of like no, not separating yourself from everything. And we're talking about, like, how they say there's the mind, the body, and the soul. And I was like, yeah, I feel like some people who are like sick or lost or whatever, confused in this world, they're identifying with too much of one of those areas. Like, if you're too much in your soul, like you're not going to identify with your body. So those people are the ones that don't identify with like they're like, oh, I'm not a male, even though they're clearly in a male body, because they're separated from their body, but they're more connected to like maybe their soul, or their the perceived mind anyways.
Yeah, no, I mean it is. It just not being totally present, like just being present, overemphasis of the presence in some other area.
Man, I tried recording that call because me and him talked for like 2 hours, and I recorded it. But then when I went go to play it back, I realized that my recording app wasn't able to pick it up because the phone call was through an encrypted call.
Damn. Yeah, no,
It
that's
was
how it be. It'd be
it was
like that
cool.
all the time. I be wanting to screenshot shit all the time, and they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. This app doesn't let that happen." Damn.
Oh yeah, yeah, Signal. It's cool to know though. I was like, wow, that's cool to know that if I actually have this conversation, that like none of my apps can pick this up. I'm trying to think of what else there was. Oh, I was saying how, like, we talked about people with these abilities to communicate with these other beings, and how in other cultures they would be considered a shaman, but here they're considered schizophrenic and they're put on drugs. And I was also saying, I was like, so imagine if you were that like higher being that is being talked to by a human who smoked DMT, or somehow got himself to that realm. You're not really going to want to answer questions about their relatives or their friends or anything that's not saying. So I was saying, like, because when he was in this other realm communicating with his beings, asking them questions, I said, well, imagine if you were that being and you had access to all these answers. You wouldn't want to be answering questions about some shit that doesn't matter, like this kid's grandmother or me, or whatever. And but I feel like if he asked the right questions, then instead of like draining his credit to be there, it would add to it, if that makes sense. Because
yeah.
I noticed
guess,
that
yeah.
like if I talk to you, for example, and if I start asking you a bunch of questions talking about shit that don't matter, that's not doing anything, you're gonna feel drained as fuck, and you're probably not gonna even want to engage in the conversation. But if I'm asking questions that like seem like they're going somewhere, and the conversation's engaging back and forth, then it's gonna keep going.
Yeah, nah, and that's why I started charging for questions, man, because people were just asking me questions that like I done answered hundreds of times, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, man, if I charge them, then at least they'll like let me think of the question. Let me think for a second what's the best thing to ask.
Right, and that's how I remember when I first saw you posting that. I was like, so I gotta pay you or something, and you're like, no, like this is. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, man. I mean, somebody asks you the same question. It's just like
Well, with all
the
the
amount of
content out there, it's like all the questions, answers were all out there, so it's redundant for you to keep answering. Like that's the whole point of you making the video.
yeah, and then it's like the amount of time like collectively used to like go out of my way to tell somebody the same thing is just like it's just a waste of time. And I be thinking about it like, damn, I only got so much time in my life. Like I can't. It's like I used to be at this traffic light when I was living and growing up in Jersey. I used to be like, man, I've been at this light probably like 6 months of my life, all
Whoa.
together, like all together, like just
Yeah,
sitting at this light that like it was just a light that you might get caught in it twice because it'd be so packed, you know. And I just be like, man, collective time at this light. If I stay here, if I stayed in these same movements, I probably have been at this light like a year of my life just at this light.
yeah, that's a good point.
I just be like, then it's not that this is not productive for like the collective, let alone me. Like I could be doing something way better for everybody else instead of answering like, yo, bro, what should you do for, like, are enemas good? It'd be just like random, just say, you know what I mean? Questions like that, you know what I mean? We're just like, oh man, I'm glad that you're, learning and everything, but it's like, man, I just don't feel like answering this right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could ask a better question and do your own research and then investigate yourself and experiment with yourself to figure out if a food or herb or a program is a good thing to do. You know what I mean? But people be like so afraid and then lazy with mixed in with the fear. So it's
I
like crazy. Like,
I feel like the only things that I remember watching a ton of your videos and stuff, and then I don't think I reached out to you until I kind of felt like I got to a point where I had questions that I couldn't find the answers to. Like, you talk about a lot of things, but I don't know. Uh, that's when I felt like I reached out. But I don't remember how long that was between like me actually like looking at what's already out there and then like feeling like, okay, let me get some little clarification on something or whatever, or better understanding.
yeah, like that's how I would be. That was my relationship with Pharaoh. It was like, yo, I've collected so much information, and then he would just help me step back a little bit from the information so I could see it from a different angle. It wasn't like he collected the shit for me. It was like I
Right.
was like, yeah, man, I'm seeing all these dots here. Like, is this how you should connect these shits right here like this? And he'd be like, look, step back a little bit. And that's like that was the relationship. You know what I mean? It's not like a motherfucker can make you go through that shit though. You know what I mean? It's not really on the responsibility of the teacher anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's not you gotta go do that stuff and then you learn how to ask better questions and then that just challenges the teacher. You know what I mean? It makes it to where the teachers of the world have to teach in the most effective way and think of like the best answers that they could have. And it's like entering the mind, like a general entering the mind of another general. It's like the teacher got to enter the mind of the student in a sense, like they're teaching themselves, so they are a student. But um, when you're teaching other people, you're like, man, what could they ask me? You know what I mean? And then I just reached a point where I'm just like, man, fuck, man, people are like, I know like they're not even changing their experiences enough, doing enough alterations to where they could ask me different questions. It's only gonna be like these fucking questions, so it just gets so draining. You know what I mean? It's not like everybody like the standard person isn't like vegetarian even.
Right. That makes me want to. That actually inspires me. This conversation inspires me more to want to like make videos or podcasts because it's like, oh man, if I can do that and then just direct someone to that instead of just wasting energy trying to explain the same thing over and over. Because at this point, for me right now, I've explained so many things a million times because I don't have any of it like recorded somewhere that I could just say, here, look at this. Or I kind of do because like where I like found things, like I'll just be like, oh, look at this. Like I've tried to show people your PDFs and stuff. Literally never, not one person that I've shared them with has it really went anywhere with at all.
It's crazy because people will buy them, and I know they don't read a lot of them. It's like sometimes, for the most part, people paying for something, they're gonna go in and get what they paid for, get something out of it. But
I didn't even read. I didn't even read every single one of them, to be honest. I mainly paid you because I was like, damn, this dude put out, like, I felt like I got my money's worth before I even got them. So I was like, this guy's selling this. I'll give him $100 to support him because I felt like you did more than that with just your Facebook posts and YouTube posts.
yeah, I have no idea where the person that is buying the whole bundle is in their process. So like, it's like all the way from the beginning, like getting the basic like foundation of like this perspective of life into like today where we're at with the questions and stuff. So I'd be like, man,
It would be good to have it like chronologically ordered.
yeah, yeah, I know, yeah. I got I be just telling people to read like these certain first ones or these certain ones first, like 4 or 5 of them. I read these first and then go into the other ones.
Like, which
And
ones
like
would you read first?
I always tell people like lock consciousness, spiritual immunity, 2020 tantra, healing a day, and probably, I mean, them for sure. I always say them, but I feel like it's another one I'm missing here.
I don't think I've ever seen Heal in a Day. When did you write that?
In May 2019.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense because I don't think I have any like your recent stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's funny how they
Like,
always come in waves. They always coming through me being in deep states of fasting. So that's the only time I'll write like that. Only time I'll trust myself enough to even like publish something like that.
or
That
like
extent.
Anime Man too. I don't think I've read that one either.
Oh yeah, Anima Man. I throw that in a 5. That'd be 5 right there. That one's dope, man. I feel like that one is like really like so much self discovery in that one, and me being honest with myself. It really,
I'll have to
just
get that.
me investigating my own body and my own process, and then comparing and contrasting from the people I've met and what they've told me and what comes off of their body. Because you can
Oh,
people's
that's cool.
experiences, people reek of their experiences, so you can kind of feel it out what people have been through, especially once they talk.
What do I reek of lack?
No, like I mean, like if someone's a murderer or whatever, or if somebody, if somebody like with you, it's more so like you. I just don't get the sense of somebody that's like wanting. Like I don't feel like it's a sense of want. Doesn't I don't feel like you want for anything in the sense. That some people want to get money so that they can just get the girl, or so that they can, what I mean, or whatever it is. I just feel like you just like, yeah, man, whatever.
Yeah, literally. No, I really don't. Like if I want something, it's definitely not like it's not a real want. It's like, one of those egotistical things. I don't know. A thing that's been a lot like revolved around my life is like relationships and like the idea of love and the idea versus the act of it and all that. I feel
Yeah, I
like
guess you should just go in on about your experience and like where you're from, so people can get an idea of maybe the region and which in your age maybe and different things and whatever, just so they can get a feel for where you're at, because sometimes they'll be like, man, this dude is only this age or this dude is this age or whatever. That's where he's from. You
right,
know.
right. Yeah, I've had people be like, "Man, you're like this, wicked old," but I'm not. Yeah, well, I'm 27 from I don't know, wait, like northeast Massachusetts, and yeah, I don't know how much more. I don't know if being a Pisces matters. Probably to some people, they like to know that. But
My brother just be like, he got this like fixed perception on the signs. He just be like, man, he's like Pisces automatically Jesus. He's like Sagittarius is the devil. Um, Cancer is God, and he be like everybody else is angels and demons.
so I'd
And
be like you in his world then.
yeah, he'd be like, you get the Jesus complex. He'd be like, this is the complex of the signs. Like he's like automatic with it. You know what I mean? He's like Libras is angels, Scorpios is demons. He's like, you know what I mean? Like like everything. Like it's like you just gonna lump all these people in this 30-day period, whatever. Like
What about Aries?
demon. Yeah, Aries is the demon.
What about Taurus?
Gemini is a demon. I think Taurus is angel. I like it's just angels and demons, and then Jesus, God, the devil. I think that's it.
Which one do you say was the devil?
Sagittarius.
No shit.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
I can see it because, especially going off of like what you said. I don't know if it was you or something you shared about like trying to do a business without a Sag. And I mean that would make sense because like the business thing is all revolving around like the devil or evil or whatever type thing, you want to call it.
Yo, everybody, I always, people always, I guess, it's with, Baphomet and the goat and everything, but it might be true, man. And it's a Sag, man, because they are like another type
What
of
is
sign.
it?
Well, Capricorn. A lot of people say Capricorn because it's a goat, and the Baphomet is, it's like associated with the goat, and it's like a lot of
Oh,
people
right.
Baphomet like with the devil or the beast or
The
whatever.
only thing people always say about Pisces is just they cry a lot, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, is that it? Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
funny,
like, yeah,
man. I
right.
always just meet females though. I don't be knowing dudes like that. Like I don't be knowing dude. I don't be even giving a fuck about their birthdays. I need to care more, I guess.
I was just like you're a Cancer, and this dude in my town, he's a Cancer that I can have like real conversations with like that. So I've always, for some reason, really jived with Cancers.
I think we're all kind of psychos, cancers, you know what I mean? And
Dude, for sure. For sure.
Mr. High for sure. So I feel like that everybody that knows a cancer knows that they're a cancer because they're insane. You know what I mean? That's how I feel like. I don't know. It's not
Yeah,
even like so much insanity. I think it's just more so just like the just feeling more than you really want to.
yeah, for sure. And then, it depends on how much you numb yourself. Because if you don't numb yourself, then you're gonna feel it. So a Cancer that is like, I guess on the healing journey is gonna seem a lot more crazy than a Cancer that just like has a sad diet, like the standard American, like eats like shit, numbs himself all the time. They're gonna fit in with everybody more. And same for me. Like the more I like numb myself and just give in to like the whole, try to do what I think I need to do to get through society, I feel more quote unquote normal, but I feel like crazier and like I lose myself. But then the more that I feel like I come back to myself, I know I look crazy to everybody else, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I feel like everything I've done in life has been crazy for a long time. So I'd be like,
To
damn, man, just getting further and further from shore, probably as far as people's ideas of reality is.
Crazy
You
to
know?
who though? Because what you've done in my mind that I know of, it's like not crazy.
Yeah, nah, but like it's like relative at the time and the moment. Like people be like, whatever it is. Like I went to my first high school and I was like, I'm gonna leave this high school. I went to my second high school. I was there for a while, and then I was like, what, I'm gonna leave this fucking high school just because I want to play football for a different coach. And like certain shit, and then people was like, all right, all this shit is like, I mean, you just kind of hot and cold and crazy, like in a sense that you just drop out of school, go to another one, and then like I was like, you know what? I'm gonna drive across the country and live in California. I'm 18 years old. I'm gonna play football so I can go to the NFL. Like everything was like blind and crazy, like to the rest of the world, like everybody else. You know what I mean? I just was like naive enough to like even be motivated enough to like do it. And then like it brought me to another place that I didn't really think I was gonna go to. And then it just opened other doors. And then I just kept, I just keep going through the doors at some points just for the sake of craziness, just because it felt like because it worked before. And then at other times it's just only crazy to the outside world, but to me it's like this makes all the sense in the world right now to go through this door, but this is only going to be perceived as crazy. And then it's like the further I go down the road, it's just like consistently like that though. So where I'm just like, man, I'm not gonna be able to talk to anybody anyway, really, like about the shit, you know what I mean? Like about certain shit, you know what I mean? I'm gonna have to just certain things you just at least going to be between you and have to accept that.
You looking crazy though to the majority is allowed you to get as far as you've gotten, in my opinion. Because I feel like if you make too big of waves, and like I think you'd be targeted. Like if you can be discredited, then that's good in my opinion, because you're gonna last way longer than somebody who comes right out the gate with all these facts and like everybody understands them and no one questions it. Like that person is a huge threat. Like you kind of want to be not a threat to anything political, anything having to do with like but like flying under radar, but still making waves, but without getting detected.
Yeah, I think it's like kind of why I'm kind of like mold, you know what I mean? And like or fungus in a sense, like where I could have just been fungus, like and been with the empire. But I feel like I'm more like a helpful flora and like a gut flora. Like I'm just like I gradually take over though. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. Like I feel like I'm gradually because it's so unseen. I'm gonna get no recognition for it. I'm gonna have to just live with myself. I think that's what I mean. The bane of my existence is knowing that I create the initial tiny wave, and then the shit gets huge, and then you just be like, all right, fuck it, man. Everybody's just riding the wave. So,
Well,
nah,
because
man.
that if you cared about what other people thought about it, then like that's the ego or whatever you want. I feel like that's like kind of parasitic. But if you just did it and like it would be doing it and not caring about how it's received is more like in line with like love, in my opinion, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like
Oh,
I know it's just yeah, I know that this method, the way I'm doing it, would like be a gradual infection. Whereas like maybe if I went another way, I would have just already blown up too early and then already climaxed way too early and been on my way down. Is whereas
yeah.
now I feel like in the next like 500-600 days, I'm still like in my ascent, and then I'll probably plateau. And I'll be on my way down in a sense, like
Dude,
as
I
far
feel like you've made like huge shifts in this reality. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. Um, just with doing your own self work, and it's like infected enough of the world that I see these shifts. Like for instance, the word tantra all of a sudden becoming like a buzzword. I feel like that was a lot from you. And then what else? Also like Dr. Sebi and you and a couple other people talking a lot about like um back in the day years ago about mucusless diets and alkaline water and stuff. All of a sudden alkaline water became this big thing. Everyone was marketing alkaline water.
yeah, I think it's really just like so much of it is like when you be really coming into self care or self love, people are so backwards that that's seen as an attack. Self care is more so seen as an attack and something to be afraid of. So people be like triggered by me, but some part, like the part of me that's inside of them is like, they know what I'm saying is true. If a lot of the times, but then
Right.
but there's like a fear there because they're afraid to care about themselves that much. So then they stay just out of earshot enough to where they miss certain things. Like they're only going to hear people was like come to me now, like I can just tell, like, because who knows what the algorithms give them too. I don't know what posts get through.
Oh yeah,
So
dude. Facebook will be showing me like only certain ones of your posts, and then like it'll show me posts from like days ago, and I'm like, oh, I didn't see this one till now. Like the fuck's up with this?
yeah, like you really kind of got to come to the page to
Yeah,
see it.
every
You know
so
what I
often
mean?
I'll just go to your page and just scroll down through it.
Yeah, yo, it's wild how they do me like that. Like how you know most people are gonna hear like they're gonna miss tidbits in the beginning, and then like months and years down the line, that little bit that they missed is like now snowballing the other little bits that they missed, and now they just got this other perception of me that's just not even true, yo. It's not even, you know what I mean? But I can't expect everyone to follow me intimately, so it's like whatever. But I just know a lot of it is just fear. You know what I mean?
Right, but
People
people
don't.
act
Huh?
like they follow you intimately by condemning you, even though they only saw like a couple fucking posts or something.
Yeah, man. Like you know, and then a lot, you know, people. A lot of the people that condemn me the most is people that tell me shit in private, and then they be like disgusted with themselves that they told me that. So now they want to go on a rampage. There's a lot of people like that. You know what I mean? And like, it's not like I'm exposing them in like you know in name or anything like that. But if it's some universal shit that I get out of a conversation, I'm gonna share that with the collective that I can reach. You know what I mean? Online. If I have a conversation with someone and I find a new way to say the same shit I've been saying, and it's more concise, I'm going, you know, about some topic, I'm going to share that with people online. But people be like, man, why are you sharing that? I'm like, man, it don't got your name on it. It ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Why don't you want people to not make the mistakes you made? Don't you
Oh,
want
so
that?
they offended even though you don't post their name? Like no one would have any idea who the fuck it was.
Yeah, but all the time people be like, man, like, I know you got that from our conversation. I was like, yo, I already have said this to like 100 people before I even, but now this time, now you're on this 100th time of saying it. Now I said it some cooler way. So I'm going to share it. And
I've seen that with our conversations like years ago. I remember we'd have a conversation and I saw you make a couple posts. I'm like, oh, that's from our conversation. I always thought it was cool. I'm like, yo, that's cool. We had a fucking conversation and it sparked something good enough to like post. Like, I never was offended by that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like people will say shit and then yeah, so then they'll feel like naked. You know what I mean? They feel like they feel like I violated their trust or something. But it's not like I'm putting their name in like, yo, Susie and Mary did this and this is what happened. It's never no shit like that. So you know what I mean? It just be people be knowing they weirdos too. You know what I mean? People be exposing their weirdo-ness to me. And then they be like, damn, you wasn't a weirdo. I thought that I could come out and be weird with you and that everything would be cool and that you would accept me more. But now I created more distance. And I was like, yeah, you're a fucking weird. I'm really not strange. I'm really basic as fuck, man. I really feel like I'm just like basic ass caveman. You know what I mean? You know, like I don't, it's not, I'm not really overthinking anything. You know what I mean? It's like, I already know what I want to say. I'm already at the end game of that, and it's just like, how can I say this different way to communicate to different people? And like, you know,
It's fun.
you
Like,
meet
try to
somebody that's like dark. You can meet one kind of person, and they have wet dreams, and then you meet another person that's nothing like them, and they also have wet dreams, but then they have their different ways of expressing why they think they get them or what their symptoms are and when it happens. I'm like, yo, if I can like find a way to common ground. I'm meeting all these people that have the same problem, and I find the common ground in what's going on with them. Then I can share it to more people, and then they don't, and then other people have to have this injury. But
yeah.
yo, it don't. People don't be looking at it like that, yo. I be just, I don't know. I be kind of surprised when people don't like me in some ways. I be like, damn, well, how much did you watch? You know what I mean?
That's
Like really, like what? I be wanting to know, but I don't care at the same time. So it's like, damn.
you know, I when I want to know about something like that about myself, anyways, it's always about like, all right, if I know how I'm being perceived, maybe I can like come off better when I'm trying to get a message across next time, rather than being like an egotistical thing of like I actually care about what they think. It's more of like just trying to learn about myself.
Yeah, I'll be looking at like, man, I'm gonna tap into all these different people I've experienced and all the different people that I come from, and I'm gonna just communicate in all the different ways. You know,
I can't believe how many people come at me talking shit about you like it matters. And I'm like, because I share your post, so they're like, oh, you share this guy's post, so like you basically blindly believe everything he says. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. People are so annoying. And then
I share shit from Alex Jones. That don't mean that I fucking eat steak and
right,
smoke cigarettes. Like,
right. People like, oh, you shared Taylor's post, so you must be like Taylor. And I'm like, well, I can relate to him a lot of things, but I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't. But you know, I don't know. It's just so crazy how people, they must be trying to like say shit to you, and then you don't respond, and then they go talk shit to everyone else who like has anything to do with you, or
yeah,
like they see someone who has like an ounce of respect for themselves. Like if someone respects themselves, then they're gonna have an ounce of respect for you. That's just how it works. And then they try to tear that down.
yeah. No, I know, man. People shouldn't be offended, man, because I just be like, yo, you don't have to follow me. You know what I mean? Like you could just you could just like come back and check my page out at your own leisure. You don't have to follow me.
The
A
only
lot of people
offensive
do. A lot of
I
people
could
do.
right? The only defensive thing that I could see anyone saying anything about is like the amount that you talk about, like want to just fuck a bunch of bitches, and I won't even. I got
Over the
nothing to
course,
say about
but like over the course of like I gotta think about, I've been posting since like '09. Oh, I
it.
like
Right.
really '08. Like '08 is when I moved to Cali. So like that's when I started being away from people more, and I was just more on the internet. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't around anybody I grew up with, so I wasn't really on the internet that much before that, other than to like research. But yeah, yo, like that shit is crazy, man. Like I I just feel like it's over that period. You got to think about it, over like a 13-year period of posting, 14-year period. However, like yo, this is not really that much bitch talking about bitches. You just caught me at this point, and then I'm like, I go through flurries.
Yeah, it's like
Of
they're trying
posting.
to. Yeah, it's like they want to discredit all the shit that you posted since then because of some shit you might have posted right now.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like if a smoker tells you like, yo, smoking is bad, people be like, yo, what like what you gonna judge him because he said like yo, you shouldn't do this, you know what I mean? Like
Videos about like supposedly there's like people talking about and videos talking about like the event coming up and talking shit about it. I was just told about it, and I was like, "Really? Show me this." And then they like didn't show me the evidence, but they said it happened. So I was like, "I don't care."
what they say?
That like people were talking shit about your event. I forget. This. I was told this like a month or two ago, but I don't know. It's just wild how much people talk that you probably have no idea about.
Yeah, I'm pretty insulated from people. You know what I mean? And then like I'm so like quick to violence that people know like nah, I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to go to prison for the rest of my life or die because you got to kill me. So like, like
That's
like
crazy. That you got removed. I saw that.
well, yeah. It's like it's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that shit is. But then at the same time, I feel like it'd be the timing of shit. They knew to like to ban me for 3 days on Facebook across this weekend.
Oh, because of the eclipse and the new moon.
That and then like the WHO shit that they're doing in this month or whatever. They just announced that they're gonna have this meeting like between May 22nd and May 28th, and it's like basically for a world government, man. You know what I mean? To sign over uh
Damn.
more of the like basically they're saying like if another pandemic happens, the WHO and the UN can override the US Constitution and take care of the situation.
Dude, you know what just happened here in my town today that I found out? Diesel went up a fucking dollar. Like gas has been like 4.19, let's say, and diesel was like 5.19, a dollar more. All right. Today it's 6.20 something. I'm like, bro, diesel's now $2 more than gas here. I'm like, how the fuck did that just happen in 3 days? And people, I'm like, dude, people are gonna start fucking robbing places. Like
Oh,
when this
food right.
when it comes down to food, yeah, people are gonna definitely start robbing places.
Yeah,
But I think
it's
it's
definitely,
gonna start with gas.
huh?
I think it's probably going to start with gas because raising the prices to ridiculous levels. And if I think about
Oh,
how many
yeah.
rednecks drive around in diesel trucks, you know, they probably wouldn't be
Yeah.
too happy to be paying six something.
Yeah, they know who drives the V8s and the diesels.
Yes, truckers and
People that will defend themselves, that live in rural areas, that need to bring bigger supplies. You know what I mean? You don't need a V8 in San Francisco, really. You know what I mean? Like you don't really need that. You just get you a little smaller four-cylinder car because
dude, I
gas
want to
costs.
talk about this type of shit.
Huh?
I want to talk. I want to figure out about like how Pharaoh like had that meeting with you, but like not physically.
Oh, you talking about when he went into my body?
Yeah,
Yeah, what about it?
like like how is that possible?
Bro, I
It,
mean,
it sounded like you. It sounded like when you described it to me, it sounded like you like allowed it, but kind of didn't expect it, so it kind of freaked you out. Like
no, it's just because like having a parasite, having another creature in your body, and then you're going into hypnosis or in trance or whatever, like when you're in dreams, like it's just like he caught, like it's like going into another parallel. You know, in the Matrix when they went into the other parallels to train in them, it's like
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
probably, yeah, he
It's
probably
like that.
caught me. He probably caught me slipping in a parallel because I remember I just couldn't move like him. You know what I mean? Like I just remember not being able to really move because I didn't really have full control of my body. I wasn't fully in it.
You were like Neo trying to fight fucking what Morpheus.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it's like. It was like I couldn't really move. I remember being in a setting in his house and like looking up, and I just couldn't like get my body to get my arms up to block anything, and it just yeah, and the speed he was moving was like yeah, Matrix level speed, yo. You know what I mean? Like you can't see this motherfucker really. It's almost like a blur.
All right, so you know, so obviously you've experienced that. So there's that, right? My friend, she's been dreaming about our friend that had died. And she was telling me how in her dreams she would see him and she'd be like, "Mark, you died." And he's like, "Or Mark, you're dead." And he's like, "I am?" And he's like, "Oh shit, my parents are gonna be really bummed or whatever." And then I was like, "Dude, that's exactly what he would say if you said that to him in a reality where he was alive." And I was like, "What if you're like in your dreams somehow peeking into another reality?" And then I said, "Next time you go next time you see him, don't tell him that he's dead. Just have a conversation with him." So she started controlling her dreams and like literally bringing herself into different realities, and then was able to sit down and have a conversation with this person that is dead in this our waking reality. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
so
Farrell just said telepathy is ultimate focus. So I think
hmm,
yeah, if she just could focus on a motherfucker enough, you could probably connect.
right, and then my friend just called me and told me about that thing where basically saw me do something in the past, but it was remote viewing. When me and this kid were when me and my friend were kids, he brought up remote viewing. Do you know what remote viewing is?
Yeah,
Where you
like
project your
Project Stargate, like
probably where you project your consciousness and like you can see shit without
yeah,
physically
yeah,
being there.
yeah. No, I'm just saying that the government did the CIA did a study called I think it's Project Stargate was remote
Yeah,
viewing and astral projection.
I forgot the name of it, but so yeah, basically this kid did that. I was like, dude, you remote viewed, but you remote viewed in the past. So just the potential that you have is insane. A dude projected himself into your mind. This chick brought herself to another reality and spoke to someone who's dead in this one. This other kid remote viewed the past of the reality that I'm currently in now. I'm like,
Well, one
it's
time when I did DMT with someone, I saw all their memories.
whoa.
You know what I
The other
mean? Like,
day I was
yeah,
sitting there doing breath work. I was listening to music and I was doing breath work, and then I forget what I started to think about, but all of a sudden I keep getting the chills wicked bad because, and every time I speak this because it sounds so fucking crazy, but literally the lights flickered, but there's no lights. Like it's like I'm in a matrix and there was a glitch. And I'm trying to, like, so you know how on a movie set, right? There's no ceiling above, like where there would be a ceiling is just a bunch of like lights for lighting.
Yeah.
So I was in my living room, you know, the room that you've done DMT and shit, and all of a sudden it was like, imagine if my ceiling was just a hologram, and above that ceiling was like lighting, and but all I could see was the ceiling. So these lights started flickering, like the light of the room flickered, and I'm, what the fuck? But there's no lights. There's no lights in the room. It's daytime. There's no light on. It didn't make any sense. Just the whole light in the room flickered, like there was some lights above me, like above the ceiling that I couldn't see. I don't know how to describe it other than that, but it just, I'm like, holy fuck, dude, this reality is fucking insane. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you know, and it's like getting back to the ultimate reality, you know what I mean? Like that's the we're moving forward to it. You know, it's like
Right.
crazy to think like, you know, a lot of people are almost if they're created in the illusion, like it's like, say, you know, like I was saying in the last video, like you got what is, and that's what you come from, that's like your true self. Then you create this dream. And if in the dream you don't connect with your true self, you just die in the dream and you just keep getting lost in the dream. And then I think like a lot of people are just products of the dream. Like it's like if you came into a dream and you just impregnated an NPC in the dream, you know, like a projection from your subconscious or something that's just not really an individual.
Right.
So like the offspring is from that dream. They're not really from the ultimate reality.
So what if that's what all this is?
And a lot of people are like, and it's a truth for a lot of people. That's why they don't give a fuck about
Yeah,
like,
this whole thing, right?
yeah, because so many people probably at this point is from it. Too many people are from it instead of being from something more real to where they can have perspective and be like, oh shit, man, I was being really greedy or I was being really lustful. I need to chill because I know that there's a more real reality that I got to return to. And I got to be on better behavior. You know what I mean? I got this, you know, you have the perspective. But I feel like a lot of people don't have that perspective because they're from the dream. They were spawned from it. They didn't get projected into it.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying now, like, or what you've said in the past about people, um, yeah, just kind of being a part of it and not coming here.
Yeah, like just being.
Like some people are a product of the environment and some people are like visitors.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like an amalgamation is like a manifestation. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit of everything, you know, but it's not. It's like a jack of all
Ultimately,
trades, master of none. Huh?
I said ultimately, I feel like consciousness itself is like the visitor. Like the body, the animalistic part of the body, that's the part that's like was here. But whatever is like allowing us to have this like communication and question ourselves and like be self-realized, I feel like that's the visit. That's like the alien part, or the part that's like, but not everybody has that. You know, there's people walking around just like total NPCs.
Yeah, like, and if you had a kid with one of them people, like the kid would be kind of like bound to this thing, and like you kind of like tie your consciousness to this place because like you're just going. It's like a plant, you know. It drops its seeds, and then that seed grows into another plant, and then it drops its seeds. If you drop your seeds in this fucking illusion, then it's
I
like,
know the people that have that consciousness that's still locked inside of them, that's like it's at least there and not totally left yet. It's always traumatized people. Like people that have been traumatized at like a young age. People that go through trauma more at like a later age, I don't think does as much as when it's like when you're young, but it somehow like traps that like I don't know, it like traps something in you that's like kind of preserves that consciousness, I feel anyways. And but like the people who are coddled, who had like they just kind of like develop into a whole piece of shit. Like there's not even a part of them in there that still is that like pure part, you know?
Yeah. No, exactly. Like
So it's kind
it's
of fucked
know,
up that the traumatized people are the ones that like make it like that like um kind of hold on to themselves.
yeah, I guess you get the contrast really early, you know, like if you're like in a really stressful situation or near death situation, kind of forces it, you know. Like if somebody scare you enough to where you think you might die, or, you know, then you be like, you know, your true self, it's gonna surface because it's like life or death. I think you get in touch with it really early, like kind of earlier than you should, to get in touch with like a fail safe like that early, you know. Like if you got an abusive parent or a sibling, you know what I mean? They
Right,
doing
right.
something, doing something to you where it's so much fear. It'd be a lot of fear, you know what I mean? Kids be scared of shit, you know what I mean? They have nightmares and stuff, so kids be giving off mad energy, mad, you know, raw, youthful energy.
And then the parents are always just like, yeah, no, that's not real. Just ignore that, count that.
Yeah, and then I think that's what happens too. Like, so you impregnate an NPC, so then you reincarnate through some NPCs, and they just tell you that the shit's not real. But you're like, yo, I'm the originator one, and I do know that I have an inkling of doubt about this reality, and I kind of can understand. I kind of can see that this is what's not real, and I come from something more real, and I got caught up in this. You know what I mean? And I think that's like because Pharaoh would always say, like, yo, a bound spirit, like spirit bound, being like from the matrix, being like, you know, like I said, like from within a dream and not from the source of dreams. Then, like, and this being a dream, this reality, like that's like a spirit bound individual, or whatever, right? And so, like, then you got like the soul bound. It's like people that have souls that just tied themselves to NPCs or did things like, you know, sell their own people up the river or something like that, to where now they're just bound. They make contracts with the Matrix basically, to where now they're bound. Their consciousness is bound to this place, even though they're real in their souls. They gotta go. They gotta undo all of that shit just to get their soul back, to have autonomy with it at least.
That makes a lot of sense. That made me think back to when you said the thing about your brother saying like Cancer would be like God and Pisces would be like Jesus, because you obviously identify with like so like not from here. You're like, I'm not from here. So like that would make sense. Like if you were like God energy, because God energy is not from here. And like it makes sense to me thinking about like, all right, if I was like Jesus energy or whatever, that makes sense to me, because I feel both. And like Jesus was kind of like the idea of Jesus anyways was kind of both. You know, he's a son of God, so he's like he's connected to God and he's part of that, but he's also like man and like really connected to man. And I don't know, I feel like I resonate with that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Whoever did that, you know, that meme that got my brother hooked on that psychology, you know, that philosophy is
That
it was
meme, that's what it was,
yeah,
a meme.
yeah, it's a meme. Yeah, they put some thought into it. You know, yeah, Cancer is supposedly the most distant star. It's Cancer is supposed to be the most distant body of stars or astrological sign. It's the most dim, and
Dude,
so it'd
that
be the
really
first.
is hard to learn now though, memes.
Yeah, I mean, that's like art, though. You know what I mean? Like you think about it, like people knew themselves more whenever Da Vinci was on walking the earth, making his art, or whoever was making their art, and then they was looking at that shit, and they was like, "Yo, I see the message in this." And now, however many years later, people are like, "This is just some cool art." Like,
Right, 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 right. So now it's got to be like art, but with the message literally spelled out for you with words in it.
yeah, exactly. Like it's not even. It's not even that. It's not now. It's just it's so spoon fed. You got a baby bird, everything. You know, you got to be so direct because everybody's so numb and traumatized. Like they're just, you know, it's just not even gonna connect. You got to like bring it on a plate of hate. You got to bring the love on a plate of hate, a hate plate. And
Yeah,
that's
you gotta
how.
have a. It's like a reverse Trojan horse. You gotta like.
Yeah, yeah. So you got to punch people with love.
Yeah, yeah. Here's all that bad shit you asked for. Oh, but yeah, but there's a bunch of love inside of it.
Yeah,
I was telling my friend recently that like one of my friends, like I had another close friend who's like really depressed and stuff, and um, it was really weighing on me because I care about this person a lot, and I was like, damn, how can I help them? And I'm like, yeah, I can't help them. I said, and it made me realize I'm like, I'm in the same spot. I feel the same way, but I have a different perspective on like, you know, ending my life or something like that. And
yeah,
but I was like, all right, what can I do to help this person? And I realized the only thing I could do was to start taking care of myself better. And it was wild to me that I don't know that when if I try to live for just myself, like selfishly, it's like I stop caring so quickly. I don't know why. When there's one other person that I give a shit about, I'm like, oh, let me take care of myself for that.
yeah, yeah. No, it'd be like that. Like,
And my friend was like, I was like, I cared about this person, and then I wanted to help them, but I knew I couldn't, so I just started taking care of myself. And he was like, that's love. And I don't know, it just hit me because I'm like, yeah, you're right, like literally.
yeah,
How many people would like care about someone else enough that they would take care of themselves so that they can actually, you know what I mean, be around and have the energy or have the uh have any, be able to be there for that person.
yeah, man. That's how my mom is. You know, I guess it's kind of rubbed off. You know, she always be like, she never was like one to just say I love you and really be like hugs and kisses or nothing. She'd be like, she'd be more so like, yeah, take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is telling me you love me.
Oh, dude, that same thing with my parents, but I kind of broke them into like hugs and saying I love you and shit like that because I don't know, I had some girlfriends who, kind of brought that dynamic in and opened us all up. It was good too because my mom was weird about it. Um, so it definitely helped.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Man,
yeah,
fuck,
yeah,
relationships have
my
fucked
mom-
my life up, but they really shaped it too.
man,
I don't.
yeah, I guess like my favorite thing about relationships is knowing that I'm never gonna do whatever that was again. You know what I mean? That's the best part. I feel like every relationship has made me tired as fuck. And the best part about it is know when it's done and I know I'm done in my body, I'm like, oh, well, at least I'll never have to do that again.
Right until you do it in a slightly different way.
Yeah, something that seems somehow different. And then I go through it again. I end up tired as fuck. And I'm like, yeah, I should have known. So I already
Oh
know,
shit.
like, yeah, it's only so many more times of that, though. You know what I mean? You know how it is with everything, where you just be like, all right, yeah, you know what I mean, fool me once, shame on you. You
Where
know,
speaking of that, where you at with your recent uh relationship thing?
I'll never be in another relationship again.
Nah.
No, I really don't think it don't make no sense, man. I'm gonna just keep hurting people. So I think it don't make no sense. Cause I don't, you know what I mean? Like when it really boils down to it, and I think about how I invest my energy, like, do I
Well,
really
you
give a
only keep
fuck?
hurting people if you keep hurting yourself.
I feel like, yeah. So for me to put myself in them circumstances is just gonna keep hurting me because I'm gonna hurt them. Then I'm gonna think about myself like shit. Like I ain't shit. Look what I
Well,
did again.
who knows? Maybe you come across somebody that makes you want to that just makes taking care of yourself feel like it's the only way to go.
I think
And
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm innately such a drain on people that, especially the opposite sex. You know what I mean? That I feel like I drain them so much that it's just better for me to stay away because I don't like to watch somebody get drained. It don't feel good. At this, I mean, it never felt good, but Definitely not at this point.
Yeah, yeah, because you're aware of it, and rather than people, like a lot of people drain the fuck out of somebody, and like they're dating somebody or they're married to them, and they're still draining them every single day, and they don't see that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I can see like you know that if I stay in this, that I'm gonna be a weight. You know what I mean. I haven't been in a relationship and not. I feel like I'm always gonna be a weight, even when I had the money. More if I'm the bread, even when I'm the breadwinner, I still feel like I'm gonna be a weight emotionally because yeah, just the nature of I guess the beast. You know what I mean, and that I am that I'm in at least.
I'm somewhere in the middle where I'm like, man, fuck relationships. I'm good with that, but I'm like, I don't know. I still there's this feeling that I'm like, all right, if something comes along that seems like I might I might run with it and see where it goes.
Well, I'm just looking at it like I did it like I did it. I guess I took what came, and then I started making myself more available to the world, and then I started to generate a following to where anybody that is single and on the same path as me, or and been doing it like at the same time or same amount of time as me, I would have already connected with them by now. You know what I mean? Like it would already happen. So now it's like I either gotta like change somebody's life, you know what I mean, or get somebody younger so I can try to like redirect them. You know what I mean? Like, and I just feel like, man, that feels like tampering.
Yeah, it all
And,
feels like you're trying to control something outside of you.
yeah, you know what I mean. So I just be looking at it like, man, I just don't. I don't think I'm my best self when I'm in relationships. I feel like everything in my life is reversed to what it would be for a natural human. I
I'm
feel
my
like,
best self before I get in a relationship, and then I get in one, and that's when I go downhill.
yeah, for sure, that be happening too. Because whenever I get my energy up, I feel like I take on contracts that I shouldn't, whether it be relationships or jobs or anything.
Yeah, and they seem so easy, like at the moment, because your energy's up, so you're like, oh yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah, yep, terrible decision. Um, just not. But then I guess you just got to go through it, and then you just have the foresight. You know what I mean? Like, oh well, never again. I don't ever have to do this again.
Speaking
And
of business, I'm juggling like a bunch of shit right now. Like first, I wanted to do this podcast, and I'm like, all right, but then whatever didn't happen. Then I end up running into this dude that I knew from years ago. Now I'm opening a glass shop, like a smoke shop at the building you've been at, and then I just met this other dude the other day. I responded to a Facebook Marketplace ad to go look at this like electric fucking bicycle. I ended up talking to this dude for 5.5 hours. 70-year-old guy, and we talked about just like I don't know, kind of everything. This dude's wicked smart. He's got like 3 girlfriends. He's like, yeah, I just got a divorce recently. He's like, and then he like brought up that he had multiple girlfriends and stuff. Wicked interesting dude. He's like, yeah, I told my wife 19 years ago that I wanted to have a girlfriend, and if she wasn't cool with it, then we need to get a divorce. So she tried to be cool with it for 19 years, but he's got like this. He's a 70-year-old white dude, kind of like nerdy, and he's got this like Asian girlfriend, and then he's got some older black lady that's a girlfriend as well. And I don't know what the third one was. He never mentioned her. Oh wait, no, I think it was another Asian lady. But it was just wild how and he started telling me about how like this dude, I found out he's got a bunch of money or whatever, but he was saying how you gotta fly under the radar enough and like not like what I mentioned earlier, not like affect things politically or make too big of waves. Because I'm like, man, how the fuck did this guy make it this far? And he's like, because he didn't really make waves. But at the same time, he was like, he says he likes to help. He's like, I like to help people. So he's given so much of himself trying to help people. And he was asking me like what I want to do. And he asked me some questions like, oh, would you rather do this or that? Like, and it was kind of like, would you rather make a bunch of money or would you rather do something good? And let's always do something good. But yeah, now I'm going to work for this dude a little bit, doing some labor there. So I got all of a sudden all these like business opportunities are just coming at me out of nowhere.
yeah, no, man, it definitely feels better to do things that help people, and that's why like I feel like it's better for me to be alone because when I'm alone, there's nothing against people. I feel like I'm just better service to them at a distance from them, and I can organize my emotions and thoughts better. You know what I mean? And when I get like so much energy of my energy absorbed in another person, I feel like I just start failing the world.
Yeah, I can see that. And I feel like if I specifically try to help somebody, I hurt them.
Yeah, yeah. It all just feels like tampering at this point. And I just be like, damn, I don't think it's meant to be in this life. You know what I mean? I just got to look at it like, what else can I
Man,
do?
this Matrix really showed me that. Like when I was first doing psychedelics and experimenting with like uh just like the potential that our body has, and then but I was also trying to tell people about it. I was trying to like, I guess wake people up or whatever. Man, this Matrix really gave me a fuckload of pushback and like crazy ways. Like I'm talking people showing up just to kind of show like, hey, we're watching. Like you quit this shit right now. Like you're fine. You can wake up and you can break your chains free and like whatever and do whatever you want, but don't mess with this program. Don't mess with the programming. And that's kind of the message that I got.
Yeah, like you can't carry nobody to heaven
And I don't
or to
even
hell.
know and I don't even want to say that message is from like, government or like, that type of shit. I swear that message was more from like a divine that was more of like a divine message from like
A higher government.
yeah, a higher government, like not even
Yeah,
not in this way.
yeah, you know, everything is all things are seen. You know what I mean? Like this shit is everything's in its proper place, and you know what I mean. It's just like whether the thing knows it's in its place or not is the fucking issue, I guess.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because like I was saying that to my friend because he was talking about some scenario where he felt like he was in the wrong place, and I was like, well, I feel like you're always in the right place. You just need to know why you're there.
Yeah,
But
and then
he
yeah,
was
once
telling
you
me
know the
about this
why,
DMT trip he had. He did DMT with his brother, and on his way back to his body, he he said that he literally saw the reality that he came from, and he literally fucking did a like curve and went into another reality. And he said as soon as he was able to speak, he's like, "This isn't the right one. We're not like I'm not in the right one right now. What the fuck?" And just the amount of awareness that this kid has in within his trips is amazing. Like one of these times we're gonna have to have a conference call, like me, you, and him, and so that we can bring up some of the shit that that he had to say. Because I really wish I had that recording from yesterday.
yeah, man, retaining them trips is definitely
He said these beings were telling him too when he asked them the questions. They're like, "All right, but you got to write this down." They're like, "If you don't write this down, we ain't telling you nothing." And he's like, "All right, I'm fucking mentally remembering this, right? I'm recording this right now." I think he needs to actually write it down though.
that's crazy, man. The only other time I've had like I guess not like it wasn't like machine elves, but like I had the one DMT experience where it felt like I was in a place where yeah, all the souls get cast back down into incarnations or whatever. But I never had a DMT trip where something was like directly like talking to me. It always just feels like I'm talking to myself like mad directly and or cryptically.
And that's what I said to him too. I said these higher beings in my mind always were perceived as just higher versions of me. So it was like me talking to myself. And then he's like, yeah, he understood that because of of all us being pieces of that anyways. But he somehow retains his sense of self enough. He's very interested in the fact DMT in the first place. What the fuck? And it really changed his life. Like he believes in like he was not religious in any sense at all, but now he's like has a belief in a god and like what and all this stuff, and he's had so many crazy DMT experiences that now when people talk to me about DMT, I literally reference his experiences because they make more sense than mine. And like I feel like they almost carry more weight because like the way he was able to articulate it to me, and I don't know how much he brought back from it.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I've never like broke through and met with another being that like fucking told me anything either. And he's told me this multiple times. Like another time, he was just doing DMT a lot, kind of recreationally, and they were like, all right, we know you've been doing this because you've been looking for some answers, but like you've been getting fucked up too much now. So like we're gonna give you what you've been looking for, that you kind of forgot that you were even looking for this question, for this answer. And he said that they just showed him the universe and how everything worked, and that it was like really beautiful and all this shit. And I don't know. He's had a lot of experiences like that. So I think you would have some great conversations.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I've had experiences where it feels like one time I did DMT with my sister and her friend, and it felt like I felt there. I could see the silhouettes of them in my DMT trip. It was like two shadows, but it didn't feel like somebody else. You know what I mean? Penetrated my trip though. You know what I mean?
This kid's also done DMT with his older brother, and they've tripped together. They literally went to the same place and then came back, and were like, "Yeah, we were just at the same place." And then his brother was like, "Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. It's so weird. I don't know what the fuck happened, but yes, that just happened."
That's funny. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that made me want to do DMT, like, or that made me think, like, damn, I wish I hung out with you when I did mushrooms in Vegas, like, and didn't just go to sleep.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I
That
forgot.
you're telling me that was hilarious, bro. I was fucking dying laughing.
I'm glad that you drank that, because I drank what I drank, and then that shit was like, I gotta go lay down, dog. I'm tripping.
Yeah, you're like, I gotta go lay down for an hour, and I'm like, all right. In my mind, I'm like, yeah, he'll be back. He'll probably be back in an hour, so I'll drink this, and then, but I'm like, nah, I'm tired now. Let me just go to sleep. And I woke up, so there was no like transition. I was just immediately woke up, and I was everything. I was just like, there was no separation between me and everything around. And then I would kind of go back and forth between like being a human and that, and it was so funny that I started holding back my laughter, but then I was like, nah, fuck this. Like I literally like pushed that shit out. You ever have a laughing fit from being like high and then your stomach hurts?
Yeah, salvia one time that happened to me.
Yeah, so this happened, but it didn't hurt. There was no pain at all. I laughed harder than I've ever laughed in my life, for longer than I've ever laughed, and it didn't hurt at all. My abs weren't sore, nothing hurt. It was so weird. It was such a release, actually.
Yeah, man.
It still blows my mind you weren't tripping.
So that I wasn't tripping?
Yeah, it just blew my mind that when I came out of the bathroom and you're just standing there, you're just not tripping at all.
Yeah, I came down and you went up.
Yeah, dude, I'm like at my peak right now, and I'm just like, what the? And I know for a fact that I drank like a third of the amount that you did.
Yeah, no, I got problems.
You drank like 3/4 of that jar, and I drank like 1/4 of it.
Yeah, man, that was the last of the penis envies, right?
Probably.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I was like, how much you put in it? You're like, I don't know, 5-6 grams. I don't know.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like it didn't. I didn't expect you to be laughing like that. That shit, man. I came into the bathroom like, yo, what the fuck?
Dude, I ain't never even, the one time I took an eighth, it was wet, so it didn't even work. So the weight was all off. But I never really taken more than a gram, mostly. I usually take a gram, and I get a good 4 hours out of a good 4 hours of tripping, like 6 hours of like feeling, trippy.
Yeah.
But
You coming out in May on the 28th, right?
so yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. If you're still coming, then we should definitely do more than we should do a larger amount.
Or the same amount that we did last time.
Yeah.
I could just have more preparation. Yeah, I'm still planning on being there in May. There's a festival that I usually would go to out here going on the same time, and but I'm like, dude, for myself, like my ego wants to go to this festival and wants to, see friends and shit and whatever. But myself knows I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be better off if I go out in California and do that.
I mean, I don't
So
know, man. Maybe not. I guess if it's simpler for you to just do that and it's less of a headache, then that might just be the move.
I mean, it is, but it is. Angie's gonna be there actually.
At the festival.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, I don't know. I think I would benefit more of like getting the fuck out of here, not going doing something I've already done 2, 3 times. And I know the reason I want to do it. The reason I want to go to the festival to be around people. I'm like, I need to stop living for other people around me and keep doing shit for me. So yeah, no, I still want to be out there for May. I just don't know how I'm getting there yet because
Yeah, it'll be
yeah,
people here. Maybe you'll meet I think the chick K is coming. So I feel like maybe y'all will be cool. I don't know. She's not really cool with nobody, but I don't know how somebody couldn't be cool with you. So I feel like maybe maybe it'll
K who?
Amy friend.
Uh.
Yeah. She
Wait, is that one? That's is that the rainbow booty one?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, she seems. I'm surprised you don't fuck with her because she seems like I don't know, the shit she posts is I don't know, it's pretty in line with the type of shit that you say.
I mean,
I'm not.
I don't know how long she followed me or what she's seen from me, but she cool, you know what I mean? I'm self-hating, man. I just can't be with chicks with blue eyes ever again. I already just made that prejudice like law for me. So even if she did like me, I don't even know if she do, but if she did, I don't I wouldn't never it would never get but to a certain place. Like we could just fuck and
I
hang
remember
out.
you saying that. I remember you saying that about the blue. Yeah, like, I can't trust nobody with blue eyes.
Yeah, so I'm already diluted enough. I ain't about to go more diluted, you know what I mean? Like for me, you know what I mean? I feel like I can't I'm already fucking uh, you know, RH negative. I don't need to get more recessive. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I don't know, just it's just extra recession. It's not as bad as it's blue eyes ain't as bad as like red hair and nothing though. Because like blue eyes because it was black people with blue eyes before they lost or changed color and you know.
Yeah,
But
that's
blue
so
eyes
funny because my
yeah, blue eyes
relationship was with this redheaded, blue-eyed chick, and it was fucking nuts.
I I one time I met this ginger and she was so bad, yo. Can't front, she was really pretty. And she didn't look like a dummy. And I lost her number and I was like, damn, look, God didn't even want that to happen. I was like, damn, lost her fucking number.
Probably for the better.
Yeah. I'd be like, yo, I really feel like, life don't want that shit to happen.
Are you still
Life don't
thinking
want
about
that.
Are you still thinking about coming out here and driving back there with me or what?
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I was asking. You know what I mean, I was thinking about doing that.
Yeah,
Thinking
if
that
you want if you want to do that then yeah, if we don't do that then my way of getting there is more limited and I'm probably less likely to make it.
I'll know May 14th if I can do it.
All right.
Yeah. No later than May 17th. I think that's the full moon. But I'll know by the 14th probably.
Yeah, that's plenty of time because it can't take more than what, 4 or 5 days to drive there.
Um, yeah. I mean, depending on how fast you go, yeah, you know what I mean, 3, 4 days really. Two
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, especially two people that can like not eat. Dude,
Yeah. Yeah. We can just get through that.
I drove for fucking like 28 hours straight on a motorcycle because I was fasting.
Even if I am having something, I would just go from Whole Foods to Whole Foods to get like, juices or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? So I hit a lot of the Whole Foods in the country just because I mean I went back and forth so many times, and Whole Foods, it closed at like 9 or 10, so you gotta like, you end up at different Whole Foods at different trips.
Right, right, yeah. 'Cause, like, they're closed right now. I gotta keep driving through the night till they open another spot.
Yeah, or I gotta go right now in Indiana because there ain't gonna be another one open by the time I get to the next one. Or
I found a
whatever it is.
bunch. I always
Huh?
stop at anytime I find like a raw vegan spot. I'm like, my parasites like, you gotta try this.
Oh no.
I think I still laugh sometimes at, like, I don't know, you made a post or said in a video or something about like having bougie parasites.
That's where it's at now. Yo, if you come out here, there's a place out here called Raw Fresno. It's just incredible, yo. Incredible. Tough to drive past them and not go up in there. So I just stay away from that area of town. If I don't want it, I can't even go over that area.
That's so funny. Yeah, all people around me, they got issues with like drugs and this and that and the other thing. I'm like, dude, I'm a fucking food addict. Like, I came from a food addict, and like that's my issue. And people don't understand that. Everybody looks at everybody with like all these other addictions. They're like, oh man, oh, that must be so hard. Blah 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 blah. And like disregard anything to do with like food addictions.
I just be doing what I got. Like I feel like my food addiction just stems from alcoholism. I come from like a lot of alcoholics, and I'm just like at the point where I'm just trying to stop the alcoholism with the food.
Oh yeah, you made me realize how like my food addiction is just a lower form of alcoholism.
Yo, man, I know, like, it's certain foods that I know if I combine them, I'm gonna be just the same as if I took a shot or two.
It just, yeah, it makes sense. It actually, you end up processing it more by creating it with the food in you than if you just took that shot.
Yeah, mad people, if you could really just drink responsibly and drink water, it'd probably be better than a lot of the diets on earth. Because
Dude, so
so
like,
much sugar anyway.
you know that dude that's with that girl that was with me, right? I don't want to say names because we're recording, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So that dude, she told me, was living on nothing but liquor for like, I forget, well over a year, and he like maintained his like size and shape and shit. And she's like, yeah, I somehow saw this guy live on nothing but like liquor.
That's how my brother
And
is.
really,
My brother will drink all day, but like gradually throughout the day. It's not like he ever really gets bent and just sip and drink water, mad water, and sip. And then if he does eat, it'd be so modest that it's not even like eating. He'll have like 2 chips and an Oreo. It'd be like, what? It'd be some dumb
damn,
shit like that. It'd be like, he the type of dude to have half a burger. You know what I
no
mean?
shit. See, I'm
Yeah,
the type of dude that had a whole burger and I ate that other guy's half. That's
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like he's so modest and Libra like that. He just like even his toxicity is balanced.
that's
Like
funny.
it's so crazy to watch, yo. He'll be like,
I'm
he his
grateful that I'm being balanced though, because if I was more balanced, then I wouldn't have seen the contrast.
yeah, yeah, because he just stayed too steady. You know what I
Like,
mean?
I
But
feel like I got sick enough fast enough that I was like, wait, I'm way too sick right now for my age, and I had to have done something to cause this.
yeah, by 19, I was fully blown into like, you know what? I think everything Sebi was saying was true. Because like even because like when I first found out about Sebi in like '08, I was 18, and really by that was the first half of the year being 18, I found out about Sebi. So by the second half of that year, I was like, yo, everything he's saying is true, yo. Like, it's no way. Cause like
Right.
I implemented as much as I could. I didn't know like certain things. And like I was like, damn, this is crazy. Like, I have to just watch a bunch of Sebi videos now. Cause like I watched a few and I got the gist of what he was saying, and I switched up my life, but I was like, I need to study this man's whole life now. Cause I was playing sports, you know what I mean? So I could just see my body. I was like, it's crazy. Like, if I want to be better, I'm gonna have to focus more on health than than actually even working out, kind of, because my body's already trained enough for that. It already knows how to do that. I just gotta make sure that the fuel it's running off of doesn't damage it, so it could just do what it does.
Right. Also, the semen retention thing must have been easy for you to whenever you kind of like integrated that or learned about it, because don't they tell people to play sports shit like that, like not to like jerk off before games and shit?
Yeah, but I used to hear coaches say dumb shit like you should jerk off. Like I've heard both. So you knew it
Huh.
was a thing though. You knew it meant something. I've
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
coaches say, yeah, you got too much energy, you should jerk off and relax. I've heard coaches say that. It's terrible. You know what
that's
I mean?
weird. That's some weird shit.
Yeah, it's strange as fuck. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of them dudes is for like on some fraternity weird shit anyway. You know what I mean? With sports, it's weird. But you know what I mean? That's why I couldn't deal with it, man. Like at some level, as the higher you go up into it, like I just like I'm too much of an individual to be in a team, honestly. To be in that kind of team, you know what I mean? It's not like I give a fuck about the goal, really. If I gave a fuck about the goal, I could be in the team. But I didn't really care. I was just using it as a vehicle to get to some other things in my life. I didn't really, you know what I mean? Once I had learned about Sebi, it really blew the lid off of me giving a fuck, you know? Because like it was mostly just guilt out of the people that helped me get to where I was at, you know what I mean? Coaches and different people, my mom, you know what I mean? I was just, motivating me. I was like, damn, I want to do it for them, but I find myself not giving a fuck more and more. And so the more that I was getting into like learning myself, the more that I really wouldn't give a fuck about football. But when it came to semen retention, honestly, yo, I was always too nervous. Only way that I could ever bust in my life was masturbating. I could never bust with a chick around. I was always too nervous. And then I got married at 19, and from 19 to 22, I started busting with her. And then, I met Pharaoh at 21, and
Damn, you know
that's
that
what,
guy.
yeah, you know what I mean? That's why I'm just like, I feel like I know the relationship's gonna constantly come back to the same place. So I'm just gonna like, that's why I just curbed it now. Like, um, so like, yeah, I known Pharaoh for 10 years, almost 11 years. And like, when I met him, he was just confirmed it, like, yeah, you gotta stop doing that. And I was like, yo, I never did that before. Yeah. It was kind of like,
What's wild is it was kind of opposite for me in the beginning of like, wait. No. You said you had to. Yeah, no. You said the only way you could was masturbating, right?
alone. I didn't feel comfortable enough to bust with a chick present. So I would just fuck them and I'd be like, I'll be so nervous and focused on getting them to come that I wouldn't even be like concerned with
Right.
me.
So for me, I remember when I would masturbate and I would come, I remember feeling insecure about the amount that I was coming. It wasn't a lot. I didn't feel like it was a lot. So I was like, huh. So I was kind of insecure about that. And I remember even to get to the point, it was like I kind of had to force it, It was like a fucking job to even get there at first. And then
Yeah. Yeah, mad times it was chicks that I should not have been fucking. And I'm just like, damn, I'm so concerned with like my idea of myself, or just it's always the idea of myself. Because even if I am trying to make the chick come, I'm trying to make her come because my idea of her flatters my idea of myself.
right.
So like it's
But
like
I realized though that I remember like that I felt self-conscious about like, oh shit, I'm not coming a whole fucking however much, you know what I mean? Like everyone's seen porn at some point and they've seen that shit. And and then I remember dudes would talk about it like, oh, I fucking come so much. So you think that it becomes like a lesser thing. But I remember once I realized about semen retention, all that, and I'm like, yo, my body just always knew. Like I literally forced my body to get to that point, but it was like, all right, you're there, but like we ain't gonna just like let it all go. I felt like my body always kind of knew to
yeah,
a point, to a degree.
yeah, man. And then you just gotta ask like as far as like people masturbating, kids masturbating and stuff like that. You're like, man, it's just like the possession is already taking hold so early in people.
And then as soon as I don't know if it was like one of your videos or somewhere, someone said was like the only reason to come for a man to come is to have a kid. No other reason. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense because at the point that I heard that, I already knew about and experienced, holding on to your seed, so I know the benefits of that. and I know like how it feels to like let go of it as well. So I'm like, yeah, dude, that makes. And plus, I knew that you can have like a great, like amazing sex without it, which a lot of people, it's like they don't. They're like, oh, you can't. You basically didn't have sex if you didn't come, and it's like, I don't know.
The whole approach
Yeah,
is it's just different. Like the whole approach to like I don't know. It's like it's so crazy, man. I just never looked at life that way. I don't know.
I know. I
Yeah,
definitely have like. I feel like there's definitely something wrong with the way I like please females. Like if I'm, I don't know. I just like to make them have a million, like as many orgasms as I can, and I know it's draining the fuck out of them. But
yeah, and then it just makes them so attached. Makes them
right.
so attached, man. Their body is just so attached. Even if they are mentally psychos and they can be like, fuck that, fuck my body.
I think I got addicted to that. I think I got addicted to that too. I remember there was one point where I literally felt like I was a fucking like a demon, like getting this chick off because I like you could watch her body drain of fluids because of how much like she came. Like she was a squirter and like it was ridiculous. But I remember being addicted to that and like I don't know, but it's kind of fucked up thinking about it now.
Yeah. No, it's kind of I mean, it's like it's like an incubus. You know what I mean? No different than like a succubus. It's just like the other side of the coin.
Oh, and then I'll never forget this one girl that like I was fucking and we were fucking for like, I don't know, hour and something. And then she like looks back at me and says, "Are you gonna come?" And I said, "No." Are you good? Because like I mean like that's I didn't give her the disclaimer. And then as soon as I said like no, I'm not gonna like release, she was like, "Oh, stop, we're done. We're like I don't want to keep going." But every time like she got close to having an orgasm, she would be like, "All right, stop." And then you stop, and then she'd be like, "All right, keep going." But like so she was trying to consciously avoid her orgasm, but then she was upset when I told her I wasn't gonna come. And then she fucked the drunkest dude the next night at a party. It was so funny. I was like, wow, that talk about a fucking succubus.
Yeah, it's another thing in there living in there. You know what I mean? It's not you fuck. It's like almost like a threesome. You fucking the thing in her and yourself. It's like crazy, yo. It's crazy.
Have you read anything about the effects of jewelry, like piercings and shit?
I mean a bunch of shit, man. I just know I heard they say that demons can't have metal on them, and I damn sure don't like no metal on me. I don't like no metal.
Metal? Oh, I never heard that. I was gonna say I was
like, only metal. It got to be like 18 karat gold, and that shit still irritates me. It's just better.
Huh. So where I was going with that was I read this thing about like women who have piercings along the center line of their body, like belly button, septum.
Oh, yeah, piercings. Yeah, piercings. Yeah, is another animal.
Yeah, so like I was reading this thing and it was saying when you got like a belly button ring, the energy that would normally flow up, your chakras and shit, it's gonna go up and it's gonna hit that ring, and that ring is gonna like kind of change that natural flow of energy, and it's going to push it, it's going to make it go back down as well, so it's going to keep you stuck in the lower like you're going to be basically if a girl has a belly button piercing, she's probably hypersexual compared to a girl that didn't. And then also it was saying how if you see a girl with the septum ring, run, because they're fucking crazy. And I'm like, yo, for real though, because their energy is going up to their head, and then it's just circulating right there around their head. So they usually have a big ass mouth and like say, you know what I'm saying? It made a lot of sense to me. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And I told, because one of my friends felt like she has issues.
The concept of metal wasn't so fucked. It's probably not the best metal on them.
Oh yeah, right. It's probably all cheap, fake ass shit like that, like with fake like copper or silver that wears off, and now you got now you got basically copper or whatever it is that like smells, leaves that residue.
Yeah, like you need to have like sterling. That silver needs to be pure silver or fucking 18 karat gold. You know what I mean? Because 24 karat is too soft; it'll just break. But
Dude, my dad's worn a gold necklace like my whole life. And I swear to God, the dude's like never fucking taking it off. And I don't know if that's helping him out or what.
Yeah, I think gold is good, man. Gold, I feel like gold is really good for you at different points. Medallions, when I used to have an Ankh and everything, I feel like it really did help, like being where in that location it was in. The
Well,
gold itself, 'cause it's gold in your blood. You know what I mean?
no matter what it is, whether it's like gold, silver, organite, and ankh, no matter what it is, like most things, I've felt the effect of them. Like I'm like, oh, this feels good. I like wearing this. But then I'll just like wear it so much that next thing you know, I'm like, whoa, this shit is fucking pulling on me. Now this is like draining me. And I don't know. I always just assumed it had to do with like, you know how they say crystals, they absorb energy and then you got to cleanse them and this and that. Like I didn't know how to cleanse my stuff, but I felt it. I felt like the positive effects, but then after a while I was like, whoa, this stuff is like not working the same way it was anymore.
Yeah, man. I mean, the metals, man. It definitely store energy. You know what I mean, and vibrate that energy. I just can't have it. You know what I mean? Like when I used to be married, I could never have my wedding ring on because it used to just bother the shit out of my finger, be itchy as fuck. And I'm like, damn, this is a nice ring still, and it still fucking bothers me. And she'd be mad about it. I'd be like, yo, I can't. I'm not wearing that shit. Plus, you know,
Wow.
I don't. Yeah. Plus, I just feel like I'm a bend any ring. Wearing rings, I'm not like. Yeah, I gotta be like out on the town or something. I don't go into town. It made no sense. So I sold all my rings, but like, I feel like, yeah, jewels. I don't know. It's not the attention I want really. I like a little modest gold chain though. I do like that.
Well, now that I think about it, I used to like wearing rings and shit and necklaces. But like back when I was eating meat and before I like, uh, I don't know, when I was still programmed, I remember liking that shit. I remember having like, at one point I would wear like 8 rings at a time. Both hands were like I had a fucking shitload of rings on my hand.
That's crazy.
It's kind of weird to think about. I like organite type stuff like that, even though it's weird because it's made with resin. I've just felt the effects of them, and I'm like, wow, these do. My friend made me one recently, and I think it actually like it felt good for a while, but then I think I wore it too long, and then it started. I don't know, it just felt weird. Last night when I was having this conversation with my friend about his I want to say DMT trip, but he didn't do DMT. And I swear to God, I was getting like it was I don't know if it was a combination between something within my body or something outside of me, but something was trying to stop me from having that conversation because it was like I immediately got a headache and I immediately wanted to be like, all right, dude, like we could talk about this tomorrow. I got to go to sleep. But I just like suffered through it for like the 4 hours because I don't know, I could just tell that something was trying to distract me from that conversation.
Man, the distraction should be crazy, man. It's almost like a crowd, almost like the parasites in a sense. It's almost like if you're playing a game, if you're playing a basketball game and you have a crowd of people screaming at you, trying to distract you.
Right, right.
But it's so subtle though.
Like I was at this what the fuck was I was at it was kind of like a party and I was having a conversation with one of my friends and it was a conversation that needed to happen. Like they were expressing some shit that they've been holding on to and it was in a way that it was allowing them to like kind of get another perspective on it. So it was really beneficial, I could tell. And then but people just kept coming up and like trying to interrupt in that and I literally like I would see them coming and I would just put my arm up. Hey, nice to see it, but like we're in the middle of conversation. I'll talk to you another time. Like goodbye. Walk away. And I did that all fucking night, and then until the very last time it happened, and then I ended up getting triggered and walking and dragging this kid down a driveway, and yeah, I lost my temper.
I
Did I tell you? Did I talk to you since then? Did I tell you about that?
don't think so.
Dude, it was wild, right? So it was the anniversary of the death of my friend Mark, who just got ran over last year. And so we had this gathering and people showed up. Well, this one kid, I guess he was like doing mushrooms and acid earlier in the day, and then he shows up here drinking like wicked fucked up. and he's just being belligerent as fuck. And then he starts talking all this shit. And then he's trying to go home, and people are trying to bring him home for like 3.5, 4 hours. And this kid actually snitched on me years ago. So I forgot about that initially, but then after I remembered that he snitched on me, the next time that my friend came out and yelled his name and was like, "Come on, let's fucking go," I just immediately stopped. I was in the middle of a conversation. I just stopped talking and I walked towards that kid. I said, "Where is he? Let's go get him." I grabbed him by his back and I just started dragging him to the car. And the kid was like, "What the fuck?" And he threw himself to the ground like that was gonna stop me from bringing him in the car. So I was like, "Oh, nah." So I grabbed his arm and I just dragged his fat ass across the driveway. And I just lost my temper, and I was like, I felt embarrassed kind of, and I was like, damn, I just lost control. I hate that. I don't like that part of me that's like, you know, wants to put his hands on someone else like in that type of manner, because yeah, I don't know. In a weird way, I'm like afraid of it within myself.
Yeah, I just know that I won't accept a fight unless we're equals. So like, I know anybody that's like that is probably gonna be to the death. So it can't be a good thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I never thought about it that much because I never been in that many. I've literally been in one fight. Like that was the second. I wouldn't even really call that an altercation because I just like went and did that shit. But like that was the second time I've ever been in that mind state. The first time, I was at this party and this dude was talking shit to one of my female friends, and like they were going back and forth like arguing and causing a scene. So I just told this dude to shut up, and I was like walking him away from the crowd of people, and somebody else had punched him and he thought I punched him, so he started hitting me. And I remember as I'm walking him away, he starts hitting me, and I just put my arms out like, really? All right. And then I just almost killed the guy. I like hit him a couple times and I grabbed him by his neck and I was choking the fuck out of him. I picked him up by his, like, I had his head under my arm, and he's like 6 foot something. He had this whole lanky ass body in the air. Like, cause I picked him up. So I just had his whole body hanging by his neck. And I was like, oh shit, I'm going to kill this guy. And I just threw him on the ground and like walked away. Cause I kind of snapped out of it. But that's the only fight I ever been in. And I guess I went crazy. I don't remember the whole thing but I had some young kid come up to me years later and was like telling me, he's like, dude, that fight that you when you beat up Tim, he's like, that was nuts. Like, you're loco and shit. And I'm like, I've never been in a fight. You probably won't believe that. And he's like, no way. Nope. I was like, dude, that's the only fight I've ever been in. Like, I don't know. I don't like losing control of myself though, like that. But I mean, I will if I got to, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's like I'm already living not far away from the boiling point, like pretty consistently. So I feel like you know what I mean? Like I just gotta stay away from people because I'm like my boiling points. I'm just gonna ruin relationships because I'm so close to it all the time.
Oh, dude, yesterday was such a fucking pivotal. No, wait, was yesterday the day before? The day before, I think it was such a pivotal day. I ran into this kid I really want nothing to do with in my life ever again. And I probably would have gotten a fight with this dude if I like went to this gathering that I was invited. People were like, oh, you should go, like, come here. And I was like, I thought about it, but I'm like, nah, because I really don't want to be around certain energy because I know it's going to trigger me to be like that. I don't, man, the new moons are wild.
Yeah. It's it be. I mean, yeah. I'm not watching the whole moon cycle in general, like watching them. How they go from cycle to cycle, man. It's just like it's almost like watching. It's not like watching. It's like it's watching the same thing but in a new way every time. Like first quarter moon, full moon, last quarter, new moon, the whole thing. I'd be like, damn, it's the same cycle. It really don't change, but it's different every time somehow. It's the same shit though.
So
Like
do you think that new moon at that eclipse had something to do with my friend having the energy to do that experience that he just had? Because he had it the next day. And I said, dude, you probably got charged up enough to where you were able to have that experience from that.
my best DMT trip, I did it on a lunar eclipse. it was on lunar eclipse. Yeah, full lunar eclipse. Best DMT trip I've ever had.
I think it's wild that we had an eclipse and a new moon because like the new moons there's no moon, right? And an eclipse is like when it blocks the moon, ain't it? Or blocks the
Yeah.
sun.
It was a solar eclipse, but
Oh wait,
it was going on in more so in South America, I think. I think you can only see it like in South like Buenos Aires and Chile and shit.
now I'm trying to think of it might have happened around the time because you said it happened in the daytime, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it was the same time that like the like reality flickered for me.
It was like 2:36 p.m. in Cali at the time, so like 5:36 your time
In the morning?
in the day.
Oh yeah, no, this was in the morning.
Yeah, remember when the lights flickered when I was there at your crib the one time? That was spooky as fuck too, because they never did it no other time.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember it had something to do. It kind of correlated to something else. I forget what it had to do with, but yeah, I remember that. But that was the actual light flickering. This what I'm trying to explain is not a physical light, but it's like you know how there's just ambient light within the room from the windows and shit. All that light flickered. Like, but it not only got dimmer, but it got brighter first. It got bright and dim and then went reset back to normal. I'm like, what the fuck was that? These lights that didn't exist just fucking flickered.
Yeah, that's nice, man. Shit, man. That spot is probably. I wonder what it was. That's a crazy spot you live at, man.
Well, so
That's what it.
after my roommate moved, and he took his cat with him, I swear to God, there's like way more like disembodied entities around now that that cat's gone. Is what I feel. Because
Yeah,
I've been
that's what
seeing
they say, right? Cats keep. It's like a dream catcher, right?
yeah, and then I told my other friend this, and he said, "Oh, that makes sense because when me and my friend did DMT together, we came back and the cats were going crazy chasing something around the room that wasn't there." And I said, "Dude, that cat was probably protecting your asses from something trying to hop in your body."
Yeah, cats be on it.
And yeah, because ever since they left, I started seeing shit in the building, like little. The only way I can describe it is it kind of looks like a wisp of light. It kind of resembles the same thing you see when you see heat coming off of a road. It's kind of like that. And then a couple other times I've seen just straight up orbs of light that were totally unexplainable. Like this one was like a bright blue, and it just like shined real bright and then dimmed down and disappeared. And I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I just discounted it. But then I look over at where it was, and I was like, wait a minute, nothing could have shined light at that point. So what the fuck was that? And I'm starting to wonder, like, if everything. So you know how you know how when you do psychedelics you get this sense that like you're everything.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely feel not separate. Yeah.
And but I'm wondering. I'm like, there's got to be things that are separate though, and but I don't know. Some people say that like ghosts and disembodied beings they only exist because like you or me or anyone is there. But that like without us to make it real, like it wouldn't be there. So like that it only kind of exists in our minds. And I've kind of been in and out of that where um weird what's the word I'm looking for? Like paranormal shit would happen to me, but it's when I was asking for it.